right, we're live.
I'm back.
Yay, welcome back. Hello, hello.
Thank you, thank you. It's great to be back.
Yeah, it's been kind of a whirlwind travel week for you, or 2 weeks, I guess, for you. So,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. I
what
mean,
what's
yeah.
been up?
It's been pretty crazy. Um, Before we get into the game stuff, let me tell you about like the flight nonsense I had to deal with on the way home.
Okay, yeah,
Just real quick. John was busy. He's not here this week.
yes,
Or forget that. Um, okay, so like I'm in Cologne. I have a layover in Munich before I have my long flight back to San Francisco.
sure.
The Cologne flight gets delayed long enough that I miss my connection.
Oh, okay, that
So
sucks.
then I'm on the phone with Lufthansa, which I now understand from a lot of people telling me is the fucking worst. Um, what can I get back today? Is there any flights from Europe to San Francisco? No, you're gonna have to spend a night somewhere in Germany. Okay, well that sucks. But here's the real annoying thing. So I get to Munich and I have to go get like my hotel voucher for the night. I guess it wasn't just my flight that they screwed up because I was in the service desk line for 4 hours.
Wow, that's actually crazy, even for airport standards.
4 hours. During that time, like a lady tried to cut in front of me, and me and the girl who was in front of me both told her, "You cannot do that. We've been standing here for 2 hours. You need to go 200 people behind us to the back of the line."
Yeah,
I don't know. Half an hour later, this middle-aged dude and his wife start to cut in front of me. And the girl's telling him, "You can't do this. You can't do this. You've been here almost 3 hours." And I'm like, "Are you trying to cut in front of me right now?" And he turns to me and he goes, "What, are you going to fight me?"
that's when you
I
threw
was like,
down.
I am not letting you cut in front of me. I've been here so long." And
So
then a bunch of
obviously,
other
I fought
people who
him.
heard that kind of like perked in and were like, and told him off. But like, holy smokes, what an asshole! Are you going to fight me?
Yeah, nice.
And then so I finally get my hotel voucher, and she says it includes breakfast. And I was like, okay, what about like, can I get dinner as well? And she's like, no, what you can do is you can use your boarding pass here in the airport, and it'll give you 18 euros to buy something. And I say to her, I have to stay in the airport longer if I want dinner? Like I've just been in the airport for upwards of 4 hours. And she goes, "Yep." Keep in mind, everyone's in my scenario. It's 9 o'clock at night, so a lot of things are closed
Yeah,
and sold out, and now all the restaurants have long lines.
sure. Yeah,
Oh my god.
classic.
That was such a nightmare of a day. Like that like broke me. Like Jesus, that was a rough one. And then
Yeah,
fast forward one day, I land in San Francisco. Customs line, 2 hours long.
that's kind of standard though for big airports, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I feel like it's kind of 50-50 when I deal with it, but still just like that was the last thing I was looking forward to. Cuz
Have you
after that, I
signed?
still have like an hour train ride back to my apartment. So,
Have you signed up for like a Nexus pass or any of that sort of thing? With the amount of flying
no,
you
I
do, it might be
haven't.
worth it.
Yeah, like global entry, yeah, I haven't. But
Turn that 2 hours into half an hour or something. Like it's probably
yeah,
worth it.
probably even shorter based on the lack of lines I see. But
Yeah, true.
anyway, what have you been up to? It's been like 2-3 weeks ish.
It's been like 3 weeks since we talked, you and I. It's been two
Yeah.
weeks since we've done a show because I got sick last week. There's a cold going around that's been
Sorry to
taking
hear
out
that.
everybody in our office. Every day there's another two people. So
I'm
yeah.
shocked that I did not get sick from Gamescom.
Or the flights. That's usually where it gets you, right? Being stuck in
Well, the
airports
flights,
and
like
shit.
I'm like masked. Gamescom, I couldn't be masked the whole time because I
Mm.
had to be on camera and stuff.
Mm.
Um, but also, and we'll get into it more when we talk about what we've been playing. There was so many people there, and by so many, I mean like a fuck ton of people. Whatever you're thinking, it's more. I promise you.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yep.
Yeah. It's funny because like the Gamescom stuff is neat, but that sounds like my personal hell and nightmare because I don't like traveling and I don't like a lot of people. So it's like that just sounds like a nightmare to me.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Especially
so
when
what
you
have you been
describe
doing?
coming back home. It's like, oh, that sounds so shitty.
Well, so what have you been up to? Anything new going on with you?
No, nothing too new with me. Just
I'll
surviving.
again, sidestepping around the game stuff because we'll get to that. After Gamescom, I did my week in the Netherlands.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
that was super fun. I hit up Rotterdam, Leiden, Noordwijk, Amsterdam, and then a town called Nijmegen because I have a friend there, a friend that I met when I was in Austria earlier this year. So I crashed at her place and we hung out again. That was super fun. Yeah,
Cool.
I had a great time. The weather was awesome. Um, some very cool cities. Met a lot of fun travelers. Hung out with them and did stuff. So
And
that
you
was a good
didn't
time.
get sick. Like that's actually amazing.
Yeah, I didn't get sick. Pretty surprising. There was one point. This was Rotterdam. So it was my first stop. I spent the night there. Second day I was there. I was only going to spend 2 nights. So leading to my second night, I'm walking into my room because I wanted to take like a nap in the middle of the day before like going back out kind of for my evening activities.
Yeah.
And someone tells me, "Oh, the girl in here, she just like fainted. Like we're calling an ambulance for her. She
Oh
has
jeez.
something. She has like a fever going on." And I was just like,
Oh no.
"Cool. Well, I'm not taking a nap in there anymore. Nope. Nope. Going back outside."
Yeah.
And
Jeez.
I was listening over to the staff of the hostel because these are dorm rooms I stay in, just
Yeah.
whatever's cheapest. Um, and they're talking about, oh, the ambulance people, they said she should be fine. She should be fine. She has to just rest. Blah 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 blah. And one person's like, you should put her in a private room so whatever she has doesn't spread around. And they were like, no, I think it's good. I think it's fine. And I was like, fuck that. So I was like, I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna ask if I can swap beds. And if I can't, I'm just gonna go down the street to a different hostel. I will happily pay another 30 euros out of pocket to guarantee I don't get whatever she has. Luckily, they had a private room, and the upgrade fee from what I already paid was like 20 euros. So I did that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty
Um,
good.
so I was like, I don't, you, maybe she's not contagious. I don't know.
Why
I
risk
already
it?
spent one night in the same room with her.
Yeah.
But if I'm just for 20 euros, peace of mind, I'm just starting my trip. Like, no, thank you.
Okay. If the upgrade fee was more, what is your max limit for the peace of mind here? 20 euros is pretty good.
I would have gone down the street to the other hostel and paid 30 euros for a new room.
Okay. Fair enough.
That's what I was saying because I looked up. I'm like, what are the prices around here? What are my options? Oh, there's a hostel 2 blocks away. It was like 33 euros or whatever it was, which is around the price I had been paying for like all my hostel nights.
Right.
Their private room was cheaper, so I was like, okay, well that solves my problem. Like, let's do that.
Sure. Cool. No, it's great that it mostly all worked out except for the end of it there. But
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the thing, man. Like airplanes, airports, airlines, they seem to want to do everything in their power to make you never want to travel again.
Oh, trust me, I'm very aware.
Yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
I love traveling so much, and easily the worst part is like getting to and from my
The actual traveling.
destinations.
Yeah, sure.
Like, because even like when I'm there taking the train, that's fine. But
Sure.
the flying part is just they're gonna find a way to make you like double guess. Was this worth it? Was this whole trip that I just had a ton of fun on, was it worth it now that I'm dealing with this?
I mean, the answer is yes, because it is fun doing the stuff when you're there. The traveling part itself, though, holy
Yeah.
shit.
And I will say the first day after Gamescom, so when I was leaving Germany to start my vacation, I got on the wrong train. That's how I started my vacation. I just spent 90 euros, which is a pretty crazy expensive ticket. I don't know why it was so expensive.
Yeah.
And I had to wait like almost 2 hours for the train. Train shows up. The sign didn't even say it was for a different train. The sign just said the next train's going to be mine. Cool. So I get on the train that shows up. I get on there and I see the train number and I was like, oh shit. So I find like a staff member on the train and I was like, hey, I got on the wrong train. Where are we going? Um, and he's like, well, where are you trying to get to? And I tell him Rotterdam, and he's like, okay, this train's actually going the same direction. You can get off at the next stop, and your train will show up next. Holy shit, I was so relieved. My stress levels like skyrocketed to like just plummeted because I was like, I'm gonna have to get on a train. I'm gonna have to go back, pay for a new ticket, probably wait another 2 hours, and then it was fine.
Man, Jesus.
Yeah. So also on the way there, the way to Cologne, um, normally I can't sleep on planes, like ever.
Yeah,
Like my
sure.
record is like maybe get like an hour of sleep.
Sure. Yep.
I slept for 8 hours.
That is actually great. Oh, dude. Did it feel great waking up and being like, oh, I'm home, or like almost home, or whatever? That must be
Almost
great.
done. No, no, this was the way there. This is the going there.
Oh,
But
okay.
it was nice just being like 11-hour flight, just gone.
It's time
Like
travel,
this,
man. I swear to God,
yeah.
it's time
I
travel.
could not believe that I slept for 8 hours. That was on the way back. I didn't sleep at all.
Yeah, of course.
Not like maybe 30 minutes, but on the way there, that was incredible. I was like, I beat my record by 7 hours. Holy shit!
Yeah. Did you? I mean, let's just keep talking about this stuff before. There's so many things, but I'm interested. What did you do
Yeah.
on the plane? Like, what do you watch? TV shows, movies, or?
Okay, so yeah, so on the way there, started up Deep Rock Galactic. Deep Rock Survivor. Is it Galactic Survivor? Whatever the
It's something
survivor
like
one
that.
is.
Yeah, I think that game's
Yeah.
real fun. I love it.
I think it's cool too. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Did I watch anything on the way there? I don't know. I definitely had stuff downloaded. I'm just not sure if I actually watched anything. On the way back though, I watched all of Batman Caped
Crusader.
Crusader.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That show rocks.
Yeah. I'm excited to get to it.
That show definitely recommend it. It is just a gorgeous to look at show, and I kind of love the villains that they choose because for the most part they're like not super famous ones. And then the ones that are famous that they pull, like Harley Quinn, like Clayface, it's a twist. It's a twist on everyone basically. Like they did a different interpretation of them, so that's kind of cool to see. Um, and then you can pretty much guess what the teaser at the end of season one is going to be. Who the teaser at the end of season one is going to be, to the point where I was just like,
It's
okay, I mean,
Joker,
of
isn't
course
it?
you're gonna do this, but like I was kind of loving that you were like kind of going around the popular stuff. This one seems a little different, especially like the
Oh,
voice. I was like, oh, it's not okay, so they're gonna do a twist on this as well. So I'm a little curious. So
okay. Cool. That's on my list. I'm excited to get to it. It's ready to go at some point.
and I watched the first couple episodes of the second season of Rings of Power. It's kind of slow, but it's okay.
Yeah. So far, I mean, I know it's kind of controversial, but you and I are kind of on the same page. Where it's like that series is fine. It's
Yeah,
like
I liked season one, so yeah.
yeah. Agreed. Agreed.
And then yeah, I played some other stuff, but that's in my what we played, so we'll get to that shortly. But why don't we do a podcast?
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah, we'll start it right now, finally, because it's the top-down perspective for September 5th. I'm Sean Booker.
I'm Paul Fleck.
Paul, you got some housekeeping you want to talk about real quick?
I do. So there was a giant exodus from Twitter onto Blue Sky from the Brazilians. Brazilians are kicked off Twitter, no longer allowed on there, and it was
Did they
time.
say why?
Yeah, it's because Elon Musk thinks that their government is against free speech, which they are, frankly. But
Okay.
it's I
And
don't want to
as
get
we
too
all
into
know,
it.
Elon
It's
Musk is very pro.
I was gonna say
free
it's
speech.
rich coming from him, but anyways, they apparently to be in Brazil, the government was like asking Twitter to do certain things and they refused, so they're not allowed there. So the Brazilian exodus has happened to Blue Sky, and as we are the top-down perspective, the most popular podcast in Brazil, I thought it was about time that we made a Blue Sky account. So we're on Blue Sky
cool.
now there as well.
Nice. And is it the same handle?
It is TDP Podcast. Yeah, I could have grabbed something else, but like, why mess with it? You know?
I think you should. Yeah, I think you keep the same one, unless you could get just TDP.
I
Which
tried.
That would have been pretty baller. Okay.
I tried. Yeah. No, believe me, I was like, oh, that would be sick.
When Hive was a thing for a day, I was able to get TDP on Hive.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. Like, if we can, we should always try to get TDP.
Yeah.
I went down this weird rabbit hole of like, is there a country that's like country code is DP where I could get a domain that's just t.dp or something? Because that would be sick.
Okay.
That there isn't,
DP,
by the way.
huh? That's all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Went down a rabbit hole there. Also, if you watch stuff primarily on YouTube, you're going to see some changes coming up. Basically, just some cleaning up some stuff. Thumbnails, titles are going to come to YouTube. Basically, like, just to pull the curtain back, trying to game the algorithm a little bit. Make it appear in recommended. So you'll see thumbnails and all that sort of thing. But the big thing is you're going to start seeing clips of, like, fun things that have happened on the show or whatever, especially for if you're listening right now and you're one of these people that like listens to old podcasts randomly or whatever, and there's like a funny moment, please send me timestamps, clips, whatever.
As opposed to the people who are listening right now that don't listen to the podcast.
No, I mean previous like podcast episodes.
Okay.
The ones that go like back or whatever. If you find anything fun, like send me timestamps or links or all of that stuff, and shorts are going to be on there and clips and whatever. I guess I'm calling them TDP highlights.
How can people send you these timestamps and clips?
You can write them in like to the topdownperspective@gmail.com if you want to. That's an easy way. If you're not part of the Discord, the Discord's the easiest way because there's just a channel for them.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, just send them.
I've been
to John's PO box
through that channel because
yeah,
I don't remember any of these.
What's that?
Like I was saying, I enjoy going through that little clip channel.
Yeah.
Because every like, I don't know, there's maybe like 10 are in there, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember talking about one of these things. The rest,
yeah,
nope, this could have been made up by an AI for all I know.
No, dude, totally. But like that's also kind of the fun part for me is like reliving some of these things. It's like, oh, that was kind of funny or whatever. But maybe most importantly, like we have some weird in jokes and stuff with the podcast. Sure. If like people can find the origins for this stuff and send it to me, that'd be great, because I would like to make those moments shareable so everybody can be, and like for myself, remember why the fuck are we even talking about genies and stuff.
We got a good comment in the chat here. Can they send in the clip to the PO box?
Well, that's what I said. It's like, please, like, send it John's PO box or whatever. I think that would be hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we have to read it aloud. I'm not exactly sure what happens if we read it, like if someone sends a URL to that, do we just read out the URL? Do we have to like reenact the clip?
Oh, I see.
Uncharted territories here.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a good bit. Also, like, if he's listening, Rasterman, this might kill, it won't fully kill your episode titles, but it might kill that bit. Doing like actual episode titles for stuff.
Print out, if you're sending it to John's PO box, print out you're wanting to do the clip idea, okay? You print out like frame by frame, a whole clip as like a flip book.
Yes.
So that you can just like watch us talk, but you'd have to do the voices yourself because it's a flip book.
Yes, exactly.
But that is something that you could do.
You could do that. Yeah. In fact, if you're crazy enough, I recommend it because that would be hilarious.
That seems like a complete waste of paper.
Time and money. All of it. Yeah, complete waste. Yeah. For sure. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of it. Like, if you're a YouTube person, you're going to see some changes, and hopefully they're good for you. I think so far they're already fun for me to, like, kind of revisit those moments.
All right. Why don't we talk about some video games? Let's start with you, because my section is going to be kind of long. So what have you been playing?
So for the last 2 weeks, I picked up Black Myth Wukong again, because I kind of took a break from it to play some other stuff in between. Like, because I don't know if you know, there's been too much shit coming out in the last couple weeks, so it's been crazy.
Dude, I was like, yo, I've been out of the country for 2 weeks. Games were supposed to stop for those 2 weeks.
No, see, when you left, everybody's like, oh, he's gone. Everybody, go.
Like, I came back and I was like, I got, what do you mean code for Star Wars and Astrobot and Concord?
Like all of that stuff. It's gross. Anyways, Black Myth Wukong, I'm still enjoying it. Finally got past the boss that was kind of my wall. For people that are in the know, it's the Wind Dude. You probably know what I'm talking about if I just said that. Guy's a piece of shit. That game is super, super fun still. That game is getting easier and easier, but there's still like parts that are incredibly difficult, for me anyway.
Just so I can get the right framing around this game, are the attack buttons on the face or on the
Face,
triggers?
face.
Okay, all right, I know what this game is then.
It's a hack and slash. It's Ninja Gaiden specifically, Ninja Gaiden Black, basically. So I don't
Except with a
know.
monkey.
Except with a monkey, yeah. So I don't know if that's like a good or a bad thing for you, because for John, he was like, okay, I'm more interested in it now. If you're a fan of like Elden Ring and something, maybe you're more like, I'll pass then, because it is more that.
Doesn't really change my opinion. It just helps me
Yeah.
frame like what kind of game this is, because I
Yeah.
feel like where the attack buttons are, it means something. Kind of tells you a bit about what to expect from this game.
Sure. It's less about like stamina management and stuff, which is why I think John would like it, even though there is some of that in there. And it's more about
and also just kind of on the if we're talking about what John likes, this one has a monkey in it.
Yeah, he does like monkeys. That's very true.
Yeah.
I actually don't know if he really likes monkeys now that I think
famously, yeah, John's always talking about monkeys.
So. Famously. That's what he's known for.
Yep.
Monkeys. Yeah, Black Myth Wukong is still just like a great looking game. Those fights are incredibly fun for the most part, except that dude that I got stuck at, he just had a few moves that were really, really annoying. Basically, he does a thing where like he can obscure himself and like you can't reach him anymore, so you're waiting sometimes for him to come back in. Like, it's just obnoxious, you know, like shit like that I don't like.
I saw a pretty good video on twitter.com where someone, I think the comment was, I've never been this disrespected in a game before. And the video was he was fighting some boss and he went to take what I'm assuming is the health potion.
Okay.
And the boss freezes him and drinks the health potion instead.
Oh, okay.
And then the fight resumes, and then whoever was playing it exits out of the game and deleted it. But
that's pretty good.
Did you fight that boss yet?
No, I have not.
Okay, because that's bad. That's so fun.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. The bosses are very, very cool. Their fights are pretty fun. And yeah, like the problem if I have a problem with it, the problem I'm having is that it's very much like obviously an homage to the Journey to the West story, and like these characters are part of it or whatever. And like I can see why if you're in China and you kind of grew up with that story and you kind of know like a bunch of that stuff, like this would probably be amazing to you, because this game takes kind of an approach of they're almost expecting you to have an idea of that stuff because they don't really explain it. This is like another story in that world or like a continuation of it. And like as an outsider, it's very clearly like not fully for me the way it's written because I don't understand some of the things or whatever. But either way, it's cool.
You've seen Dragon Ball Z, like
yeah, close enough.
Thing. I'm assuming this monkey goes Super Saiyan at some point, and they're shooting blasts out of their hands. Like, what else do I need to know?
Yeah, you're gonna be very disappointed when you play this game.
Okay, well,
yeah. No, it's fun. It's a good time. Are you looking to play it at some point this year or not really?
I'm interested for sure.
Yeah.
There's, as you just said, there's a lot on your plate. Yeah. I haven't even started Tactical Breach Wizards, which I'm extremely interested in.
Sure. Yeah. And then the other game is I needed to check out the new expansion for World of Warcraft, The War Within, because this is kind of the big one that they're like the return of Chris Metzen back at Blizzard, writing story stuff, and them taking cues from Final Fantasy XIV and actually making a good single-player experience with story things and cutscenes. And all that stuff is very, very cool. They did a very, very good job on all of that stuff. And it is scary how, like, kind of addictive it is. Not in a different way now, where it's like they've made it so approachable for you to play as a single player in just, like, chunks of time rather than your whole life. That like it's been super easy to pick up, especially when I was sick. Put on like some music or a podcast or whatever, do some of the grinding stuff, turn off the podcast for a moment, watch like this cool ass cutscene, get some of the story stuff, and like see what they're building towards. They brought back a bunch of like characters that have kind of been doing nothing, and this is obviously going to be like they're setting this up to be a 3-parter over 10 years or something, isn't it? Like this is the next big arc that they're doing here.
No idea.
And I kind of think this might be, if they ever end World of Warcraft, this is kind of going to be like the big hurrah or something. Like they're building up to some big shit. So it's very, very cool. The fact that there's like little mini dungeons now called delves that you kind of do by yourself, and an AI companion that you can set to be either like a tank, healer, or damage dealer, depending on like what you're built as. You get like a cool little mini dungeon experience that way. You can literally queue up with AI and like one or two buddies if you want to do normal dungeons. So like everything is super approachable now, where you can just get into a party with your buddy, do a dungeon or two, and then like log off without having to find a full 5 stack, and like people actually do things. It's very, very cool and approachable, and I think it's really, really good. Now
Right.
now the test is going to be like, I haven't really seen what other people have said about it, because it might be one of those expansions where the hardcore WoW people are going to be like, no, this is boring baby shit, because like now they made it too easy. And like,
Isn't that you? Aren't you
no,
the hardcore WoW people?
oh, absolutely not. Not for at least like,
Okay.
what, 7 years now, at least. Maybe
But haven't you
more.
played everything?
Yeah, but when I talk about hardcore, like raiders that are actually putting in like 8 hours of grinding for like their raid every week, and like people do full-time job, or used to do full-time job shit in this, and those people
Okay.
have kind of been playing the world's tiniest violin, because like they've been like, oh, it's super like casual friendly and stuff now. And as somebody who has a life and other games to play, I love that. But these people kind of want to do the like grognard, like I'm gonna shit in a sock and whatever because I can't leave my computer. And
Oh, God.
I don't know
I mean, I
who
have
wants
seen
that
that
anymore.
South Park episode.
Yes, it, people want that experience again. And like I kind of get it, because I lived that experience for a couple of years back in the day, but you can't go back. Like you gotta keep going forward with your life. You can't just like let a game take over your life. And that's what I
That seems
appreciate.
going back seems like literally de-evolving as like a human.
I agree with you. And I
Yeah.
also think, to be frank, a lot of the people that make these complaints are content creators who is like, they get paid to just play this game all day. So, of course, they want
Ah.
an excuse
Okay.
to do a whole bunch of stuff.
Sure.
I kind of feel like they're the people that would complain about it. Otherwise, I think it's great. And it's been really nice to be able to play WoW for 2 hours, put it down, feel like I did some stuff in there, and then play like literally any other of the billion games that are out right now.
Sure.
Good time.
Okay. Well, speaking of a billion games, ask me anything about Gamescom.
What is Gamescom?
Gamescom is the biggest video game convention in the world.
Is
Um,
that true?
yes. A lot of people always thought it was E3, but from a like number of attendees perspective, it has always been Gamescom.
How does
This year,
Tokyo Game Show compare, if you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, we can probably look up what last year's, let's see, Tokyo Game Show attendance, 2023 attendees. So it looks like Tokyo Game Show last year, just 243,000. That's nothing. As compared to Gamescom, no one showed up. This year, Gamescom had 350,000 people.
Yeah, that's about 300,000 people more than I ever want to be around.
It, so it was from the show was technically from Wednesday to Sunday. Tuesday night was opening night live, which I also attended.
Hmm.
But I went to the show floor Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Each of those days, they were slowly letting more and more people in. Like the first day was kind of just media and press. The second day was like media, press, and people who bought like the VIP access ticket.
Okay.
Friday was the public can now be in, and then you'd have to, and then obviously Saturdays was probably the big day. There was so many people on Friday that it broke me. It absolutely broke me, and I said to my coworker,
Yeah.
"I'm not coming back here. I
Wow.
cannot come back here on Saturday or Sunday. I am staying in the hotel and I'm writing articles. I refuse to come back here." I even canceled. I had an appointment for Saturday for I am forgetting the name of that game.
Plucky Squire.
Um, no, It was at Summer Game Fest. It's kind of Souls-like-y. I think black is in the name.
Yeah, I know. I think I know which one you're talking about. The samurai inspired, like Bloodborne samurai one. Yep.
I can't remember the name of it though.
I can't either.
Anyway,
something zero or
I
something.
cancel. What was it?
Something zero or something.
I think zero might be in the name. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I didn't get a chance to play it at Summer Game Fest, and I was like, oh, I was hearing this was really cool. I canceled that appointment because I
Phantom Zero.
refuse.
That's it.
I think there's 3 words in the title.
The Phantom
Zero.
Zero. Yeah, maybe Phantom Blade Zero or something.
I refuse to go back. There's absolutely no way. There were so many people on Friday that some of the hallways were becoming single direction hallways. In fact, they were even routing people out through the parking lot just to slow them down from getting to their spot. I've been to a lot of game conventions. This was easily 5 times bigger than anything I've ever seen.
You know it's bad because
every time I turned around, there was another hall that had somehow appeared and opened up. And these halls were massive.
You know it's bad because you're definitely not the type of person to be put off by a crowd or necessarily. So if you're saying like I need a day to decompress, that's actually insane.
It wasn't even a day to decompress. I'm not going back. I did not go there on Saturday or Sunday. I refused to. I didn't have any appointments, so I didn't need to. There's no way I'm waiting in those lines because there's so many people. But no. I'm going to now write my articles in the hotel. And what I actually did on those evenings was across the street from our hotel, there was the Gamescom City Festival, where they just had like some booths and concerts going on and stuff, and that was super fun. So I liked going to those in the evening. But anyways,
sure,
that's Gamescom. What else? What else?
I have a specific question actually.
Yeah,
because there's one game that you're stoked for, and I'm also super stoked for. How is Berserker, First Berserker Khazan, or whatever the fuck?
First Berserker Khazan. This was probably my game of the show. I really liked this. It had a huge booth with a big panel screen. This game is so extra.
Okay.
Like the narration.
Yeah.
And so it's Ben Starr.
Yep.
Whose voice is just like perfect.
Final Fantasy 16 for anybody who is playing along at home.
Final Fantasy 16. He's also, I think, the main character in Claire Obscure.
Yes.
Expedition 33.
Yep.
He's in Khazan as well. If you want somebody with like a man's man voice, you get Ben Starr. He has such a good voice for this stuff. But him just talking about the Blade Phantom that he has to like get, and it is so extra and just anime bullshit. I really like it. I thought the combat was super fluid. It's very it's like very fast Souls. I'd say it's kind of in between like a.
Let me ask you a question. Is the attack button on the face or the shoulders?
It's on the shoulders.
Okay.
On the shoulders, but it's a lot faster. There's a lot of like you can cancel out of attacks to do your dodge and stuff like that. So it's a speedier Souls. I think it would be a bit of an easier one since there's not as much of like you need to commit to this attack.
You can like animation cancel. That's pretty sick.
I think the enemies definitely have a stamina meter that you're trying to like break down. But
like a poise or something, like a Sekiro.
Something, yeah. It was like a short 30-minute demo, and I did 2 demos in there. It was the intro, so I was pretty weak and such, and just tutorial. And then they put me in a boss fight where you have a ton of like special abilities where if you hold down like one of the triggers. Actually, you know what? The attacks might have actually been on the face button now that I think about it.
Okay.
Yeah,
that tracks with speedier combat to me. So that makes sense.
It's hard for me. It's hard for me to remember. I played it like 2 weeks ago. I've done a lot since then.
Yeah.
I also think it just looks really nice. It's like a cell. Yeah. It's all cell shaded. Looks really good. So I'm very excited for this game. It does not come out until like next year, so it's a ways off.
Yeah. That was kind of the one, honestly, and it's unfortunate because Phantom Blade Zero, I would have loved to have heard a first-hand experience of, but I understand.
Double check that's the name of it.
I'm gonna keep calling that even if it's not the name, just so you're aware.
It is Phantom Blade Zero, yeah.
Sick. Okay. Yeah, like watching opening night live, it made me kind of realize it's like, this is all stuff that I'm already excited for, and I don't really care about seeing a trailer for it because I just want to play it already. Like,
Peter Molyneux showed up.
Yeah, he did. We talked about this.
That was wild. What's that guy been up to? Peter Molyneux was there. Holy smokes!
Yeah, it was extraordinarily weird to see him. To be honest,
I read a really good tweet. It was something like Peter Molyneux like paved the way for lying to people to like lying to Microsoft to get money about what AI can do.
I mean, kinda, yeah. To be
Yeah.
fair, he kind of paved the way about lying to everybody to do stuff in gaming.
That dude is so good at just like pitching something that is absolutely not going to happen, but
Yeah.
getting them to fund like half a game.
But then, unlike Sean Murray, not following up and then making it.
No, for absolutely, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. Opening Night Live was it was just fun to be there. Kind of like it's fun to be at the
Sure.
Game Awards. Just so that was cool. There was a big robot I took a photo with, so that was fun.
Yeah, I saw that picture. That's true.
What else did I play while I was there? I played the new Life is Strange.
Okay. Is is that like exactly what I think it is? Because I've played a Life is Strange game before.
Yeah, no, I think it is.
Cool.
I
Okay.
believe they got the same voice actor back for Max, but for
Okay.
whatever reason, it's set a couple of years later, so she's a bit older. The voice didn't really like connect for me. Like
Hmm.
that's why I was sitting there. I was like, is this the same voice actor, or maybe this voice actor, the voice just doesn't work with like an older looking Max? I don't know. It was kind of off, but I'll have to kind of see how I feel when I am playing it. It is still Life is Strange, and you have the new power and stuff, so
Yeah.
that was nice to see. I'm looking forward to playing some Life is Strange for sure.
Sure.
Um, the Xbox booth was huge, and they had in the World of Warcraft section, they had a VR ride that you could go on, where
Okay.
from your perspective, it's looking like you're riding a dragon through like a city that's getting like attacked,
Okay.
and so the thing you're on is like moving side to side, and they have like 6 fans around you blasting air in your face. So that was silly. And
What
fun.
city? Oh, it's probably Dalaran if it's War Within related.
I have absolutely no idea.
It's probably Dalaran.
They
Yeah.
had there was bricks there. There was
Cool. Yeah.
looked like it looked like a fantasy world. Is that helpful?
Uh. Yeah.
Medieval
Kind of.
fantasy.
Oh, did it actually look like an old fantasy castle or like something a
Yeah,
little more
yeah.
sleek? Okay, so it's probably Stormwind then. That actually does help.
Okay, I was just being facetious because I thought all of Warcraft was fantasy. But okay.
Yeah, but like you know how there's like human medieval like Scotland castles or whatever. There's that type of fantasy or like elegant, sleek, like alien type fantasy. Like there.
I was
It's
doing
weird.
like medieval fantasy.
Yeah, yeah,
Isn't
yeah.
that what everything World of Warcraft is?
No, there's different. Because that thing's
that's why
been
you're
around
the
for
WoW guy,
decades,
so.
right? So like, there's different shit in there.
Let's see, what else did I play? And I played so much. I played some more Monster. I got played for the first time Monster Hunter Wilds at Summer Game Fest. We just watched like a preview of it, so I actually played it this time. That's pretty cool. I still think I am terrible
At Monster Hunter.
I tried out 2 different weapons. One, because they do a little like quiz at the beginning to be like, what kind of attackings do you want to do and stuff. And I ended up getting a glaive.
Oh yeah, the insect glaive. Okay, yeah.
Insect glaive. I was terrible with that. It's
Yeah.
like launching yourself around.
Yeah,
Couldn't figure that out.
Dude, people that are good at that look so fucking sick, but I can't do it.
that's kind of my whole impression of Monster Hunter is hard to learn, but like the skill ceiling is super high.
It is.
And stuff. So they had 2 demo stations. So you do you do kind of an intro thing, and then you go do kind of a little further on. So in the second demo station, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try a different one. I'm gonna play this lady with a big sword. I was even worse with that. She was so slow. I couldn't hit the monster.
Yeah, great swords are pretty fun.
I'm just
but
really
yeah.
bad at
What did you play in
Monster Hunter.
World?
I didn't play World.
Oh, I thought you played through World for some reason. Okay.
No, I did not. I think I played an hour of World maybe.
Oh, okay.
I got to watch a hands-off demo for the new Dying Light title, which was announced at Opening Night Live. The Beast, Dying Light, The Beast.
Yeah.
So that looks cool. You have like beastly powers. So it reminded me a lot of Dead Island 2, which I recently just played through.
Okay.
Or
Sure.
played through it last year or earlier this year. I can't remember what that was, but that looks cool. Trying to think of all the articles I wrote. I know I wrote 4 articles. What was the other game that I wrote about?
Yeah, I don't know.
This is gonna bug me.
Not sure.
Anyway, well, I don't know. What else do you want to know about Gamescom?
What did you eat there as they
What did I eat
asked.
there? They did have food trucks.
Okay.
I think I ate Indian food twice. That was pretty good. I got pretty tired of just like German food in general because like
Yeah.
I love sausages, but eventually you don't want to eat just sausages. And as far as what I can tell from it's my third time being in Germany, the only vegetable that they know about is French fries.
Oh,
And
okay. Sure.
eventually I'm just tired of potatoes and I just need
Mm.
something green. But I don't know if anything green grows in Germany, so that can be kind of hard to find.
I
So
think they
I didn't
like
need a ton of.
cabbage as well.
I guess yeah, they do. That is true. They do have cabbage, and it'll be sauerkraut,
Sauerkraut.
which I don't like sauerkraut.
Oh yeah. See, I love sauerkraut, but yeah,
Okay.
that's also a thing that like I wouldn't want that multiple days in a row
And it's like
either.
after doing kind of my European trip earlier this year and having a lot of that food because Austrian food is pretty similar as well. Kind
Sure.
of going, I was like, I'm just going to like eat foreign food like Indian. I eat a lot of
Yeah.
Thai because I was just like, I don't need any more sausages and potatoes. I need some vitamins.
Sure.
I need something green.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
they were saying, don't the Germans eat leek? No. If it's green, they don't eat it. Maybe a specific region, but not one I've been to. Um,
Another question was Switch 2 there?
Switch 2 was not there which I'm sure you're very surprised to hear about.
Yeah.
Oh, here's an interesting one. I'm not going to say the names of the companies because I don't think they would like me to do that, but
Okay.
there was so many different halls. One of them was like kind of the business center where it's like
Yeah.
a lot of things behind closed door and stuff. I went to this one hardware manufacturer's booth, and they give me a heads up before I go in. They say, "Hey, by the way, you're going to see some display sections that look like something should be there. We got robbed last night, so just a
Wow.
heads up about that." And I was
Was
like,
it
"Holy
Nvidia
shit!"
by chance?
I'm not going to say.
Okay.
I'm
Just blink once if it's Nvidia.
not going to
He
say.
blinked.
So
He did it.
that was pretty wild. The reason this gets more wild is I went to another behind closed door panel for a couple it was like some indie games.
Okay.
And they were across the row, like just the across the aisle from this one.
Yeah.
And I got to the third of the three games I was gonna see, and the guy's loading up his laptop, and it's not running great, and I didn't think much of it. A lot of previews don't run great.
Yeah, of course.
You kind of know about that.
Yep.
And the developer says like, oh man, the frame rate's pretty bad. Sorry, we're running on this laptop. We had a bunch of stuff stolen last night. So this person hit up multiple booths.
Yeah.
Wild.
I seem to remember hearing something about some. I don't remember if it was. I think it was the indie devs like years and years ago at a PAX getting a bunch of their shit stolen. Like, I guess that's just a thing that probably happens when you have a shitload of people in an area. Is that people probably just walk off with stuff sometimes.
Yeah, or just like like a security person. They're just walking around with a computer. Like they look like they. Of course, I'm walking around with a computer. Like this is Gamescom, right?
Yeah. No, totally. That sucks. That's really shitty.
Absolutely. No, for sure. So, we were looking for a bar the first night after Gamescom. The first time we got there, we went to this one bar, and that was fun. It was near our hotel. Second one, we were checking around this one area because a friend mentioned, "Oh, this is where everyone hangs out," and we didn't know which bar she was talking about. So we're like, "Well, why don't we just go to the area and we'll just look for a fun bar to find?" We found a fun bar. Turns out that's where all the journalists hang out. So we went there like each night. That was a cool little Irish pub or English pub, whatever. Across the square from that was another bar that had animatronics in there.
Oh no. Okay. Yeah.
It was a guy with an accordion and a guy with a tuba, and for €1 you could request a song that they would play like an accordion tuba cover of.
Okay.
Um,
That's pretty cool.
It was a lot of like they had a lot of like Elvis songs. The birthday song was one you could select. I was like,
Wow.
it was a lot of like kind of slower stuff, and I was like, man, they need like some Bon Jovi or something on this, like get the crowd going. But
Yeah.
it was funny because the dude with the tuba never stood up, but the guy with the accordion would stand up for each time the song was going on, and he would sit back down. But he did it so slowly that when the song was starting, it made it look like he was like, all right, one more, here we go.
This is pretty
Please
good.
don't fail me now.
This is pretty good.
Yeah. So that was a fun bar as well. That was pretty fun. So
Nice.
Gamescom was a lot of fun. Just covering it was a lot of fun. I still cannot believe I did that. It was wild flying to Germany to cover a game convention, and it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Sure.
Would you do it again next year?
I mean, the travel person in me, free trip, sure, and if I was able to go somewhere else,
Sure.
like I would. But maybe next year, because a lot of people were saying like, "Hey, are you going to Tokyo Game Show this year? Are you going to Tokyo Game Show?" And I was like, "Nah, I don't think so." Especially
Yeah.
because with the Tokyo Game Show is like at the end of this month.
Yeah.
Timing wise, first it'd be a hard pitch to do at work. Second, a lot of the demos are going to be the same. It hasn't
Yeah.
been enough
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. For sure.
So, but maybe next year I pitch Tokyo instead of Gamescom. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Sure. Be pretty cool. I mean, Tokyo's just a great city. So.
Absolutely. Yep, for sure. Okay, games that I've been playing not at Gamescom. Let's go through that kind of quickly. On the flight back, I played through a lot of Pepper Grinder.
Yeah. Okay.
I think this game's great until you have to play a boss, and then it's just weirdly difficult out of nowhere.
Just because of like what the mechanic is, basically.
Yeah, just like the bosses, they just hit hard. You have 4 hit points, so after you hit, and they have a lot of health.
Yeah.
So you have to survive for quite a while.
Gotcha.
And what
Okay.
was really annoying is I played through the first. I think there's maybe only 4 worlds, if what I heard right. But I played through the first 3 worlds and got to that third boss, and and that's when I said I'm done with this game, because you can go to the shop in each world, and for a very small amount of coins, like it's pretty trivial, you can buy like 4 more hit points. So every time I was going to do a boss, I would just load up on hit points and go in there.
Yeah. Of course. Sure.
But the third boss has like a lengthy, like kind of half a level's worth of intro that can damage you. So you basically, if you have to play through that, get to the boss, and then take the boss on. And if you die, you don't have to do that intro again, but you start with like the 4 hit points. So what's annoying is if you're trying to load up on hit points, you get there with 8, you have to get through that half a level, then you get your chance with the boss with however many hit points you hung on to. And if you fail there, you're just back to 4. So it's just too much to like try to give it like a real like I'm beefed up and ready to go, because you have to do that level and stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, that just kind of broke me, and I was like, nah, I think I'm done with Pepper Grinder. I was liking what I was playing, but those bosses were just not enjoyable whatsoever. Maybe I should see if there's like some accessibility settings, just kind of get past it,
Sure.
because I was enjoying the different mechanics, like the under the water, or there's one where you get like a snowmobile and you're going super fast. You get a hook shot at one point, which is pretty cool. So I like that game, but just the bosses are such a turnoff.
Sure.
Okay, but now it's time for serious talk.
Yeah.
Because I've been playing Astrobot.
Yes. Game of the year, Astrobot.
Astrobot is one of the best games of 2024.
I have absolutely no doubt that it is.
Yep. Like, holy shit. It's so good. Like, if Astrobot doesn't miss. Let me say that again. Astrobot doesn't miss. This game is so good. The music, so good. Every level is unique and different, and I cannot stop like searching everywhere. Every time I don't like 100% a level, I jump back in immediately. I just want to keep searching that. They have a good feature where once you finish a stage, you can pay 200 coins, which is pretty trivial, to get like a little scanner thing that'll help you find the missing bots or the missing secrets.
That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah. So it's easy to scoop up and get everyone. In the first world, there is a stage. Okay, real quick spoilers if you want to go in totally blind, skip ahead a little bit. There's a stage in the first world that is just Ape Escape. They just made an Ape Escape level.
That's great. It's perfect.
Yep. Like they even put a costume on Astrobot to look like the kid from Ape Escape. You even get the scanner, and you run around and you catch like 8 monkey robots.
Yeah.
I'm only just starting the second world. I'm not sure if they do that again with different games, but like it is such an absolute delight. I'm having so much fun. I'm going to be shocked if there are 10 better games than Astrobot this year. I would be shocked if this is not on my top 10 list by the end of the year.
Oh,
Um,
okay. When you first said that, at first I thought you meant like, I'd be surprised if like this isn't the best or whatever. It's like that's weirdly spoilering the like already
That's what I'm
the,
saying. No, I
the
don't. I'm not saying this is going to be my game of the year. I'm just saying it is going to be on my top 10 list.
one of the
I'd be
top 10 for
surprised
sure.
if there was 10 better games than this year.
Yeah.
Um, and I was also very fortunate. PlayStation sent me the Astrobot controller,
Okay. Yeah.
which
What
I'm
is?
now thinking why I should have had it here to show it off.
Yeah.
It's in the other room. Um, but I do have that controller, and that's my go-to controller now with my PS5. So,
Yeah. Cool.
you excited? It comes out tomorrow, I think.
Yeah. It's. I mean, it's been bought and installed. It just needs to unlock now.
Yeah.
That was an
And what's
instant
great
buy.
is it's not even a like full price title. It's a 60 instead of 70.
I don't even want to say this because like it's a bad omen. I would have paid a decent amount for this game.
Yep. No, it deserves it. Like,
Yeah.
Astrobot's fantastic. Like, yeah. You know what the worst thing about Astrobot is that the first game is locked behind hardware. You can only play it if you have the VR, which is
Yeah.
such a I cannot recommend just getting the headset to play through that game, but I have to assume you in your position, it must sting knowing that there's more Astrobot there that you can't get to.
Uh I'm weirdly okay with it. Like
Oh wow,
when you
really?
consider
I thought
when
you
you
were a
consider
real
that
fan.
there's a price that I would have to pay like that. Like that like you said, I don't want to buy the headset.
No, that's what I'm saying is I don't
Yeah.
think you should, but I just
No,
know for
no.
me it would be like it would sting me knowing that like I just can't access it. Like it's behind a fence for me for some reason.
Yeah, I'm sure I could find like some weird like hack or something that people have done, like some shitty version of it online or something. Like I'm sure I could find a way to experience it that would work with me like doing some like homebrew bullshit with it on PC and like my meta or like I'm sure I could find a way to hack it, but it then I'm getting like this probably shitty 30 frame a second version and it would be worse. I don't want to do any of that.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe one day
it-
I'll just like buy one of those VR headsets from like a pawn shop for really cheap for the PS4 and just check it out or something. I don't know.
Hopefully, yeah. Yeah. Well, but then you need to get Move controllers. Like it's a whole thing, right?
Oh, yeah,
Or does
because
that use the joy? That might actually use the controller, so you might be fine actually.
and I have like an old move. I have the Move controller, but like
Okay. Well,
I haven't
I think you need
dusted it.
two,
yeah, that would be a problem. I have one.
but I don't think you need it for Astrobot. I don't think you need it for Astrobot. But I think yeah, I don't know. It's been a while. It's been a long time since I have set up the PSVR. So
Sure.
it is nice that like I think Astrobot is like kind of the unofficial mascot now for PlayStation.
It deserves it for sure.
Absolutely. So it's nice seeing that for sure. It's nice having a really great 3D platformer that like isn't Mario. Like Mario's great, but we don't get a new Mario all the time. So it's nice having someone come in and be like, I'm as good as Mario. And I totally do believe that. So that's really nice. Like, yeah, it's just what an absolute treat.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it because I've been playing a lot of like really difficult games and some dour games. I just need a nice 3D platformer that makes me love games again for a little bit.
That's Astro, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
Astro is so good.
I'm so
having
ready.
So much fun.
Because like right after that, next week after I'm done with that, is Space Marine 2, and that's going to be such a gear shift.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the one after Astro is Star Wars Outlaws because I have that just sitting there.
Oh yeah.
All right, that's a bit of what I've been playing because I played a lot at Gamescom. But why don't we do some news?
Sure.
I'm gonna let you kind of run through these. You put these together.
Yeah, so these are shout out to the Discord. The Discord's been pretty on point, on fleek, I think is the way the kids say it these days. On point with the new stuff they're pulling. They're pulling all the big stuff that we probably should be talking about. So
Yeah, I'm just looking real quickly at
yeah, see if there's
the
anything
stuff
that they
I
missed.
pulled to see if there was anything.
Remember, we didn't do a
missing.
show
No,
last
you
week,
got it.
so
You're good.
yeah. Let's quickly talk about the Indie World and Nintendo Partner Direct or Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. If there was anything interesting to you there, specifically, I wanted to call out Coffee Talk Tokyo for you. Are you excited about that?
So actually, I did not watch this. I've definitely heard people,
Okay.
podcasts about it, but I did not actually sit down to watch it. Yes, Coffee Talk. The one bad thing about this article that you grabbed, it's the Nintendo one, and they don't have like the trailers tied to it, so I
They
can't like
don't, but they
watch
have
them.
everything listed at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand this is like a completely different scenario, so all new characters and stuff. But
Yes, it is.
um, yeah, I mean, I really like Coffee Talk. That is one of the chill games. So more Coffee Talk is good.
Okay, that was kind of the one that honestly, I didn't think this was great. Like for me, it was okay. The thing that was important, I don't know if I would even say important, is they released the Castlevania Dominus collection, which is all the GBA, not GBA, DS Castlevania
right?
games.
Yeah.
And more specifically, there was an old Castlevania game called Haunted Castle. They released that, but more importantly, a completely reimagined remake of it, which is fucking awesome. And it's a shame that the only people talking about Castlevania Dominus Collection are only talking about, like, now I can play Portrait of Ruin again or whatever. It's like, motherfucker, they just put out a brand new version of an old classic and nobody's talking about it. So I need to, at some point, play that because these reimagined and remastered versions of stuff have been great lately. I didn't really talk about it because I don't have a lot to say about it, but like Shadow of the Ninja Reborn came out as well, and like that's a great take on that classic game. I'm really, really happy with what these companies are doing with old games, kind of remaking them for a new era. So that was
the big one that I was
important to me.
hearing everyone talking about, and I'm looking up the trailer now just so I have it. Was Tetris Forever.
Sure. I mean, Tetris Forever is just a collection of a bunch of Tetris games, which is awesome. But Tetris Battle Gaiden for the first.
In the old series, so there's going to be documentary stuff. Of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's all that part's awesome. I kind of don't care about that
Oh, I
necessarily.
out of the stuff that the Gold series has done, this is the games I like the most.
Yeah, no, I don't care about any of that stuff.
And they're making I understand this is going to be the first time Tetris Battle Gaiden is
that I care about. Yep.
And they're also making a Tetris game, right? They always like make like a current day version of the game.
Yeah, Time Warp. It looks like a 4-player like thing where different versions of Tetris. It's switching between different versions of Tetris as you play, with different mechanics or something. Yeah, that thing looks cool. Looks very, very cool. They didn't give a release date for that, unfortunately. And also the NES Tetris, which is kind of the competitive Tetris, is coming to their online thing, their Nintendo Switch online for the NES stuff, which is exciting for some people, I guess. I don't really care about that, but
I'll call out Tales of Grace's F Remastered. I believe that was the Game Boy Advance Tales game, which I did own, but I think I lost my cartridge for that. So that's cool. Also, hey, Funko Fusion. Oh, hell yeah, let's go.
Funko Fusion, watching that trailer made me almost just like think, do I hate video games? Like that.
From what I understand, it's basically like a Lego game.
Yeah, I guess.
And if I'm playing any Lego game in the next few months, it's Lego Horizon.
Horizon, yeah, of course. Metal Slug Tactics, it was just nice to see that again and that it wasn't forgot. So I'm excited for that.
What else?
And the Capcom
Neva was
stuff.
there from Greece. I played the demo of Neva. That game, it looks gorgeous, so I'm excited for that.
Mm-hmm.
Hockey Squire, hell yeah, that comes out in
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yep, that's exciting.
Yep.
I don't know, that it was fine. I didn't think it was great or anything, but like it had some things that I'm looking forward to. I lost my show notes. Okay, there we go. Foam Stars is going free to play October 4th. Hell yeah, I've been playing that again this week, and that game is fucking great.
It's about time, right? Like,
yes,
it was weird that it wasn't.
Yes, very weird because
And
if you
is
weren't,
this just on PlayStation, or is it on
yes,
PC as well?
no, it is not.
Okay.
And it was annoying because if you weren't one of the ones that downloaded it for free for like the first week it was out because you had PlayStation Plus or whatever, you had to buy it, which meant I could never tell my friends like, "Hey, let's play this together," because I'm not going to make them spend $40 to play with me. There's no
And
way.
it looks like once it's free to play, you also will not need a PlayStation Plus subscription. So that's nice.
Yeah. I really like Foam Stars, and my biggest problem with Foam Stars is because of their terrible not being free to play model. It was hard to find matches, which is the death knell, obviously, for any multiplayer focused game, which we'll talk about in a bit.
Yep.
PS5 is getting a price hike in Japan.
Again, I understand this is the third one,
Yeah,
and it's a pretty substantial price hike as well. About $90.
yes. So what's it going up to right now? It will be priced at about $550 US or 79,980 yen for the disk drive one, and the digital version will be about $550 less or so in US terms.
Which is pretty much the same as over here. And I understand this is because the yen is so weak right now.
Sure, yeah. But that sucks for them. It's no good. No good.
Yeah, it's definitely weird.
Yeah. This is some
This,
great news.
this rocks. This is so good.
So, Remedy, who you might know, creators of Alan Wake, control those games or whatever, are partnering with Annapurna, who will be helping fund Control 2.
Remedy, you mean the creators of the Champion of Light song?
Yes, the very same.
Okay, now I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. They are doing a strategic cooperation agreement, is how they put it, because Finnish people are great that way, with Annapurna, who will be helping fund Control 2, and more importantly, be helping them bring their IP, specifically Control and Alan Wake stuff, to film and TV in whatever capacity they can.
This rocks so much.
It's so
I
good.
cannot think of a better like franchise that would lend itself to film and television. Like
Totally. I
Control
love
is
X-Files.
it's just X-Files. Can
Yeah,
like just think about it. It doesn't even need to star Jesse Faden. It can just be some random people from the Federal Bureau of Control. Every week it's a new object of power that they're dealing with.
of course.
This writes itself.
It's the way you do it.
I'm I'm so excited.
Like, here's the kicker. It makes you realize X-Files in the 90s was just this, where like every episode will happen, like have kind of like a little thing with some person discovering an object of power, or like some weird thing happens. It'll cut to like a thing that says control or whatever they want to call it, and then it'll be like agents investigating that thing. It'll literally just be X-Files, and that's
I
awesome.
really do hope that is the case. I don't want it to just be like a retelling of those stories. I think that would be less interesting. I hope they cast the actors that they've already been using, as opposed to trying to get some big star-studded ones.
Sure.
But who knows? Um, I I'm very my hopes for this are high, so I'm really hoping this comes out good because it just makes way
Yeah.
too much sense.
Like, if you know anything about how I've been approaching stuff in the last decade or so, I've been having expectations low for things that I'm like excited for, because then it's like I'm never really as disappointed. My expectations are scarily high. So
It's because Remedy has done such a like good
yeah,
job respecting their like shared universe. Like they care so much and they do such a good job with it. And they clearly like want to make TV and movies, and they put those into their games. Like Quantum Break was a TV show game. Like so this just makes too much sense, and I really hope it comes out good because it seems like the absolute perfect fit. Annapurna, I think, is a really good fit for that as well.
totally.
This is kind of right there up their alley. So yeah,
Yeah, this is an easy home run. Those two companies working together. It's awesome.
yeah.
I'm very excited.
Do you think? Do you think Sam Lake is like a cameo
Yeah,
in an episode?
I think if Sam Lake has his way, he will be in every episode, like a Stan Lee cameo in every single one.
Yeah, I don't know if it needs to be in every episode, but I would love him to show up at least once and do the Max Payne face that he always somehow does in like every time he does show up, like with a coffee cup and he does the face. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it would be great. Very, very excited. We it can only get worse from here because I'm pretty high on it.
Yep.
Do you remember Visions of Mana, that game that came out semi recently that some people were kind of thinking looked cool or whatever, RPG?
Yes. Yep.
Well, that game came out, and then the company that put it out was basically shit canned a day later. So NetEase cut Oka Studio. I'm like butchering that name, obviously. The creators of that down to the bare minimum staff to basically keep things running.
Did it just not sell well? Is that what's going on?
That's what people are assuming. It also seems like this might have been a thing that's been coming for a while. They kept everybody on to get the game out, and then like they were going to shutter it anyways because the Chinese companies are looking or reevaluating their stake in Japanese companies. And we were talking about the yen earlier. I'm almost wondering if maybe that has something to do with it. Because yeah, it's weird though. It's weird that this game that is niche, I'll admit, it's not a popular game that people were stoked for, but there's people that
I haven't
were
heard
excited.
anyone talk about it.
John was excited for it, and like a few other people, and I've seen online. But the fact that like there were streamers even doing like sponsored stream of it, and then learning as they're doing the sponsored stream that the studio that put it out is dead. Like that's so fucking weird to me. Unfortunate as well, but yeah, that was. John got a sponsor for the game. He's one of them. Then
there you go.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah. In similar but not as bad news, Capcom's Hideki Itsuno left Capcom after 30 years of working there to do a new thing. So he doesn't really say, well, I'll just read what he says here. I have an announcement for all my followers. At the end of August 2024, I'll be leaving Capcom after 30 years and 5 months. Thank you for long-term support of games and characters I've been responsible for. I hope you will continue to support Capcom's games and characters. From September, I will start developing a new game in a new environment. I hope to create fun, beautiful games that are as memorable as or even more memorable than the ones I've created so far. Please stay tuned for my next creation. This seems like it was probably a good move that he wanted to do, so I'm happy about that, honestly.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's going indie and wanting to work small. He's worked at a big company for 30 years.
For 30 years, he worked on Devil May Cry, Dragon's Dogma, Power Stone, the fighting games, like a lot of shit. So
good for him.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for him. This is actually possibly good news for him, so good. But back to bad news. We have our episode layoffs corner or whatever.
Yep.
Getting kind of weird talking about it like that, but it's regular enough.
Hey.
Rocksteady's QA team has been cut by over half. It went from 33 employees to 15. This is after Suicide Squad obviously not doing too well. Probably
it is wild to think that Suicide Squad came out this year.
Yes. Yep.
But that's obviously a huge bummer. I know QA often gets hit pretty, like companies think they're like disposable, but like they're obviously not.
I mean, this is obviously because they hired a bunch of people thinking this is a live service game. We'll probably keep it up for 10 years running or whatever. Game fails almost spectacularly. They start thinking maybe we won't put out 5 years worth of DLC, meaning we don't need as many people. Like,
yeah,
they're obviously downsizing.
I think it's worth kind of jumping a couple stories now to Concord because I have a point that's going to kind of connect both of them. So the big thing with Concord is that they are shutting it down tomorrow.
Yeah, what is it, 12 days after they released?
11 days.
11 days. Okay. Yeah.
11 days. I understand this game was hundreds of millions of dollars, 9 figures they have put into this game.
Yeah.
They've been working on it for, the reporting's been a little hazy, 6 to 8 years are what I've kind of been hearing. This was supposed to be like a massive thing for Sony. 11 days. This is kind of unprecedented.
It is a first party studio game to just die on the vine like that 2 weeks after it came out.
Like the amount of money put into this, you would have thought, oh, they'll keep it up for like 6 months, try and get something back.
Yeah.
But when the amount of people playing it is so low that you can't even find games, it's just not a good look. Like no one, yeah. This is a weird one. I played the beta. I
Me too.
enjoyed myself. You know, I was looking forward to coming home and playing some. I installed it when I got home. Could not get a match in. I wanted to play like a couple rounds last night just to be like, hey, I played the final game.
Like a send off. Yeah.
Yeah, I got some trophies for this game that's about to no longer exist. Could not even get into a match. And there's been a lot of people talking about like the Steam concurrence, which from what I understand is not a great metric to go off of.
It's a bad metric.
It doesn't accurately show like how many people bought it. It's only looking at Steam. From some analysts talking, it seemed this was a game kind of positioned more as for PlayStation, so more people would have bought it on PlayStation. But the numbers I've been hearing is only like 25,000 copies, 15,000 on PlayStation, 10,000 on Steam. That is an extremely low number of copies to be selling. So they've come out and basically said they're going to give refunds on the game everywhere.
Completely. Yeah.
And one of the lines there is, let me find the exact phrasing. For customers who purchased a physical copy at a retail location outside of PlayStation directly, please refer to the refund process of the retailer you purchased from to obtain your refund. From what I understand, if you break the saran wrap, you cannot return the game.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
I've been
what?
looking for a physical edition for this to have, because that's going to be.
Don't do that.
I've been looking.
Worth,
you know how much. You know how much those are now. They're going upwards of $150 because people are trying to get in on that.
You're not even going to be able to use it.
It's crazy.
It's going to be a coaster. That is not worth it. Don't do that.
No, I'm going to. If I can find a good deal on it, I'm going to do it.
Collector mentality for this, it's not worth it. You're throwing money away. Yeah, this is weird. The closest kind of thing I could think of to this scenario was when Cyberpunk came out and CD Projekt Red was like, "Hey, feel free to get a refund," and then PlayStation was like, "Whoa! You can't just say that. We don't do that." And then so they just took it off of PlayStation Network for a few weeks there.
Yep. That's the closest.
So many people. Yeah, but again, not a first-party title. This is a first-party title. So, the reason I wanted to kind of bring this up right after the Rocksteady story is like, this is another live service game. They were both live service games that kind of like completely just like shit the bed.
Sure.
And that's interesting to look at, because like that was PlayStation's like game plan from the last couple of years is like, let's get, what was the number? Like 8 new live service titles. Like one of the reasons they bought Bungie was, hey, help us like, kind of shepherd in all these live service games. You guys know how to do it. Remember, it was reported that Bungie said, "Hey, Last of Us Factions, this is not working. You need to stop doing this."
Yeah.
So let's do Concord instead. Like what? And I believe from the Bungie restructuring is that responsibility has like been taken away from them. They are no longer like shepherding live service titles within PlayStation, but you have to think like, what is PlayStation thinking at this point where they had a game plan of live service, look how much money, and then just like arguably some like 2 of the biggest live service games this year, you would think just did absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Like are we looking at the trend is moving away from live service games? Did we just kind of hit a surplus and it's just you have like one chance, and if you whiff it on your like opening weekend, that's it? Helldivers was a flash in the pan. You cannot look at Helldivers.
Helldivers was kind of a weird, different thing, though. It was like you get in. Helldivers is more of a Left 4 Dead thing. You get in with your buddies, you have a great time or whatever.
It's still a live service game. Like
Yeah, but it's not like the same. It's not like a competitive weird thing where it's like you got to find a match. You jump in with like either by yourself or a couple friends or whatever. You have a good time for a bit, and then you log off.
But the other thing with that one is that was not free to play.
It wasn't. That's right.
So like that thing like a complete flash in the pan. Compete out of nowhere. That thing is doing way better than it should have. And then Concord, like even like the betas, which were free, were just not bringing in the numbers. Remember that first beta was supposed to be just for PlayStation Plus subscribers, and like the day before it went live, they opened it up to everyone.
Oh, is that
And that
true?
must have been
Oh, wow.
because not enough people pre-ordered it. It was supposed to just be for pre-orders and such. And they
Yeah.
said, okay, now everyone on PlayStation Plus. Okay, now just everyone can go in.
Right.
Like,
Right.
because they must have known we don't have enough people who pre-order this game. They're not going to be able to find matches. We're going to get bad word of mouth. I mean, that still ended up happening, but
Yeah.
it's wild. So like the wording in this blog post, this is on the PlayStation blog, is let me see. Therefore, at this time, we have decided to take the game offline beginning September 6th and explore options, including those that will better reach our players. Do you think this game comes back free to play?
I
Or do you think it
actually
is just done?
I actually don't know because the way this reads to me, it sounds like they're taking it behind the barn and putting a bullet in the back of its head.
I mean, the next sentence right here is while we determine the best path ahead, Concord sales will cease immediately, blah, 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 blah. Part of me
Yeah.
thinks like the amount of money they put into this, they have to be trying to get something for it.
Yeah.
But even if this goes free to play, I just can't see enough like people being like, okay, yeah, now I'll dive in. Like I just
Totally.
it's just bad word of mouth at this point. Like there's no kind of positive attitude towards Concord. Whether it deserves that or not, I think Concord was a fine game. It didn't really stand out.
That
There
and
wasn't
that's
anything
the
like
problem, I think. That's
yeah,
why. Yeah.
there wasn't like anything super special about it. But I would not say like I enjoyed my time with it. You know, I also got it for free the two times I tried playing it.
Sure.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I played it for about an hour and then I was good. Like, I don't necessarily think it's an enjoyable experience, but it's like competently made, if that makes sense.
really like one of my favorite things was like the whole graphic design of the UI and
Yes.
stuff. Like I liked what was going on there,
I
but
like that stuff
yeah,
too.
like
Yep.
not having an alt was kind of weird. You know, I don't know. It's live service is such a crammed space, so
Yes.
hard to break out, and I think we are seeing a trend shift where let's look at just PlayStation alone. They are they are shutting this game off the day Astrobot comes out. Astrobot is getting phenomenal reviews.
Yeah.
So I would love to be on a fly on the wall inside of PlayStation right now, wherein they're planning what is our next like 18 months look like.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. I don't know. Because that's the thing is that, like, for how much money and time is into Concord, I think that thing should have been better in every way. Which, like, I would love to. This is one of those, like, Jason Schreier deep dive things
Oh
or
yeah.
whatever that I am 100% in. Give me, like, 50 hours worth of YouTube videos and documentaries on what happened with this thing. Because I would love to
I
know.
hope he's emailing people. I hope he's
I'm
got like
sure he is.
an article coming out what happened behind the scenes uh at Concord. Like
Yeah.
he's the guy to do it. So
Yeah, I would love to see it. Yeah, I don't like you could release this free to play, but like you said, I think people like me, like I'd definitely play it again here and there. I wouldn't put any money into it because I don't really care enough about it that I would buy a battle pass or skins or any of that shit. So I like at that point, are you keeping it up and free to play, taking up server space or whatever for any reason at all? Maybe they do just shutter it and they just call it a loss or whatever. I don't know.
yeah, who knows?
Yeah, it
Anyway,
is
you have basically
weird.
tonight if you want to hop in there and try to play a game. If you bought it, but no one bought it, so
Yeah, exactly.
I
It's
might try
weird.
again one more time. It's the last night. Maybe a few people signed back on. I'll try one more night to get a game going.
Sure. Yeah. Weird. Um, more layoffs happened. Ballistic Moon, who is the dev making the Until Dawn PS5 re-release or whatever, the port, whatever you want to call it. They
Wait,
laid off.
Supermassive isn't doing the remake?
No,
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
it's this British company called Ballistic Moon, which I didn't hear about until I read this article. To be honest with you,
Have they done anything else? I'm gonna look that up.
yeah, take a look. Oh, okay. Unspecified number of employees. Sorry, I was looking here to see how many employees they laid off. They didn't give any specifics, but that remake comes out next month, and they laid off a bunch of people, apparently.
This it looks like this is their first game. Yeah, this is kind of weird timing.
Yeah.
You know, you often hear about layoffs kind of right after the game goes live because most of the work is done. From what I understand, you know, the little bit I know about game development, the last couple of months are like absolute key because they
Mm,
probably did not get as much time as they would have ideally wanted. So everyone's getting crunched right now and like we need to
mm.
get this over the finish line. So it is weird that people are getting laid off at this specific point.
Yeah, the way this, like, I'll read what they said or whatever. The way this reads, it sounds like maybe they were applying a tourniquet to keep some of the people employed rather than the whole studio shuttering. In part, it reads, "It is with deep regret and heavy heart we must make the tough decision to significantly scale down our team to secure the future of our studio. This comes after our development of Until Dawn for PS5 and PC. Developer notes saying goodbye to talented, passionate group of people is incredibly difficult, and they're profoundly sorry for the impact the restructuring will have on their families." So that's a shame, but it definitely seems like they had to make some tough cuts or whatever because they're just not getting enough money to keep going.
Sure. Well, at least they're in the UK, so they're a little bit more protected than if it was an American
Sure,
company.
yeah. Then the final thing I have for layoff news is Tilting Point is laying off about 20% of their studio. Tilting Point is a company that I think makes mobile games. They're known for Star Trek titles, apparently.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I also don't know Tilting Point.
Yeah.
Looks like
So
they do
it's too
much.
bad.
Looks like SpongeBob is their big thing. SpongeBob Adventures in a Jam.
Okay,
Oh,
sure.
they've made like a ton of mobile games.
Yeah. Apparently, they employ around 450 staff across 4 US based
Wow.
offices, 2 Europe offices in Barcelona and Kiev, and 1 in Seoul, Korea. Big company.
Oh, I've seen Leo's Fortune before. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and the final thing here is this is some good news. Risk of Rain 2 developers Hopu Games?
Hopu. Yeah, I don't know. Hopu,
Hopu,
something like that.
the original creators of Risk of Rain and Risk of Rain 2, are closing down Hopu Games because they are going to work for Valve.
Right. So they sold off the IP to Gearbox, I believe.
And then Gearbox ruined Risk of Rain 2.
I keep hearing that. No one's telling me what they did. Do you have any idea?
Yeah, they released a DLC that they broke something where they tied a bunch of items to frame rate and deleted some code that they thought was useless, and it completely fucked up and all optimization for the game. Apparently, they today released a patch to fix it, so it might be okay now, but basically Gearbox got it, and some idiot's like, what does this button do? And then fucked everything up, which is kind of funny.
All right.
Yeah.
But now they're at Valve. That's cool.
Yep, going to Valve. They had a thing here. Today we have an exciting update. Duncan and Paul, alongside many other talented members at Hopu Games, will now be working at game development directly at Valve Software. We're incredibly grateful to Valve for their partnerships in the last decade and are excited to continue working on their awesome titles. Continued working on their awesome titles. That's interesting. That's the first time I actually noticed they said that. Okay. However, this does mean we're stopping production on our unannounced game Snail. It's been an exciting and transformative 12 years. We feel lucky for the opportunities we had. Deeply appreciate our team, blah, blah, blah. Snail, huh?
Shit, so we don't get to see Snail.
God damn it. I have to know.
So you can add Snail to the list of games along with Valley of the Gods.
Oh,
that are
fuck,
indie
yeah.
studios that were in the middle of making a game, but Valve bought them, and that game will no longer exist.
Was that Fulbright?
No, it wasn't Fulbright.
It was the other one.
Um, it was the Firewalk team.
I get mixed up because they were all part of
Firewatch.
Idle Hands, and I can't remember
Idle
which one's
Thumbs.
what.
Yeah,
Idle
no,
Thumbs, yeah.
because Fulbright was like Steve Gaynor,
Yeah,
and they did Gone Home. You're thinking of like Chris Remo, Sean Vanneman.
yeah.
Those guys did Firewatch, which I cannot remember the name of that studio.
To be blunt, the good ones. Because
Campo Santo, thank you. Man, I haven't heard
Campo
the term
Santo.
Campo Santo in quite a while.
Yeah. I was actually lamenting the other day how much I miss Idle Thumbs. I really liked that podcast.
Idle Thumbs was a fantastic video game podcast for sure. Absolutely.
I miss it. I miss it. Yeah. That's kind of been it for news, though. A lot of news, but, you know.
All right, we got 2 weeks to go through, so let's do some questions. Topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter and Blue Sky, I guess.
Yeah.
The Discord channel, John's P.O. Box are all great ways to send in questions. You could sound just like
Jacko304. Yeah.
I just recently started listening to the podcast, and I figured that I should start a couple years back. I wonder how you choose. Like, where do you start? You're looking at the whole list of them. What year do you? Anyways,
What I've done before,
back.
just to answer your question, when I've seen a podcast like that, I start at the beginning to hear like them kind of get their footing for about a couple episodes.
Oh, gross.
And then
Okay,
I'll usually
sure.
jump to like recent stuff if there's a lot.
Okay. Well, this one just went a couple years back. So that's what I'm wondering is like, how do you pick?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
a couple years back to give myself more to listen to while I work, as well as listen to more about games that were released during my personal favorite year for gaming, 2017. Okay, I guess that's how they picked. The release of the Switch, Breath of the Wild, Nier Automata, Mario Odyssey, Xenoblade 2, and many more. So my question to you all is, what was, in your opinion, the best year for gaming? Or what was your personal favorite year for gaming in general, and why?
2017 is a strong one, so let's just get that out of the way. Yeah, that was a good
Last year was a real strong one.
Last year was a very strong year. Yep.
I think
1998 for me.
I remember 2010 was big.
I feel like 2010 was big as well, actually.
Oh, that might not be the one I was thinking of. But 2010 had Red Dead Redemption, Alan Wake, Super Meat Boy, Mass Effect 2. Oh, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Yeah, this year rocked.
Yeah. Yeah, 1998 was one of my favorites for sure. So 1998, Ocarina of Time came out, Resident Evil 2, Metal Gear Solid. What else do we have here? StarCraft, like some of my most favorite games of all time came out that year, and I was like 12 or 13, so it was like right at that point where I could after school play just a shitload of something. I remember calling in, well, not calling in, I guess, like telling my parents I was sick, and me and my buddy also saying they're sick, staying home from school and just playing like 8 hours of StarCraft. Like, good times.
Oh man, okay, no, hang on. It's 2009. That's Assassin's Creed 2. That's Arkham Asylum. That's the first Borderlands. That's Prototype. That's Shadow Complex. That's 50 Cent Blood on the Sand. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. Uncharted 2. Left 4 Dead 2.
That's a crazy year.
That year rocked.
That's a good year.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good year. Damn. All right, Rasterman7 writes, you're in a subway station. It's deserted for some reason. It's been snowing heavily, so you're stuck there until police and general emergencies arrive and are able to get through a mountain of snow in an indefinite amount of time, not higher than a day or so. Everything works as it should, except for anything coming from either side of the tunnel due to the coincidental blockages. Internet signal is limited, so much so that it's unusable. Other than that, everything from the station works as expected, including a hot dog stand named Hot Dogs, D-O-Gs, with a capital G for some reason. And a magazine stall from a certain Edward Nee, who's nowhere to be seen. In any case, you notice one of the monitors and
So Genie, they capitalized like Genie.
God damn it. Sure. Okay. Yeah. In any case, you notice in one of the monitors that one of the restrooms has a family of bears in it. They're sleeping, but it'll probably not be long until at least one of them wakes up. Your only tools outside of what's normally present in these locations are Ring Fit, a lantern, and a limited edition Sonic figurine made of chrome. What do you do?
All right. Okay. So, huh. Okay, we have to survive. So we have to survive basically at night in a
I'd probably just
subway
stay.
station
I'd stay
with
in
a
the
bear.
security room or wherever I am that I'm looking at the monitor. Like, I don't know. I just don't do
Yeah,
anything.
I'm assuming. So you're definitely gonna have to like barricade the door. Can you barricade the bears in the bathroom?
Wait, there's a hot dog stand? I make a line of hot dogs to draw the bears out to one of the tunnel sides so that they're far away from me.
But from what I understand, the tunnel is like covered in snow.
No, that's
So there's
fine.
like a
Just as long as they're over there, I'll stay over here. And then I give them a snack.
yeah. I
They'll be
I think
happy.
what you kind of do is you try and stay in this whatever the room where these monitor is, some kind of security room or whatever. You try and stay there. You get a bunch of hot dogs, like
Yeah.
all the hot dogs, right? You bring the hot dogs. Well, maybe you don't bring the hot dog stall into your thing.
Yeah.
Let's say you bring the hot dogs into your thing so that you have something to eat, but that's going to attract the bears. But then you like kind of throw the hot dogs every time the bear comes kind of close.
Yeah.
I do think if you bring all the hot dogs in the station with you, they're going to come for you.
Oh, wait, this is a subway station? Then it has those turnstiles that are metal? I just go on the other side of that wherever the bears are.
It depends. It depends on the subway station. Sometimes they have that. Sometimes you can just kind of walk through. It kind of depends. A bear could get over those.
No, I'm talking about like a full like a wall one. You know what I mean? Like,
Again, it depends what kind
yeah.
of subway station. Sometimes it's just like a thing you can walk through and it like scans or whatever. Like who knows? I think your best bet is trying to lock a door between you and the bears.
Yeah, if the thing is that if it's a polar bear, you're fucked because they can smell you and they will kill you and eat you. Like that's
Well,
just the way they are.
couldn't any bear smell you and kill you?
No, a lot of bears won't even bother with you, honestly. If like they'll be interested and then if you're near like their children or whatever, then they'll fuck you up. But polar bears are
I
the
mean, I'm
only
under the
bears that
impression
will
these
actually
bears
hunt you.
are. I'm under the impression these bears are a threat. Otherwise, what's the point of the question? Like putting them in there. You know what I mean?
I guess. I'm just saying that polar bears are the only ones that will actively try to kill you.
The ring fit, I don't think is useful in any
No,
way.
of course not. Like what's
No,
even the point
that's
of
not. I mean, the Sonic figurine at a chrome, maybe that's a weapon if it's like sizable. I mean, the lantern gets you fire. Can the lantern produce fire, or is it just something that could hold fire if I'm able to produce fire?
I think just hold
Because if it's
fire.
the latter, then the lantern's not that useful to me.
I mean, this is modern day. It's probably an LED bulb or something. Like,
Okay.
I would assume.
Yeah, I think your
Yeah.
best bet is trying to use the hot dog strategically, or at
Totally.
least hoping that they smell the hot dogs and they go there. But they're going to get through those hot dogs pretty fast.
Yeah.
So I also don't know if I would eat subway station hot dogs ever. That seems like a great way to get sick.
Yeah. Yep. True.
What and again, it's been snowing heavily. I mean, I was raised in the snow. I grew up in the snow.
Yeah.
Can I not just go out in the snow? I was much like Bane. I was born in this.
Yeah. You
You simply adopted
adopted
it.
the snow. Yeah.
I was raised here.
Yeah. Molded by it.
Exactly.
No, totally. Like this question reeks of somebody that didn't have to walk through a literal like 3 feet of snow to school because
Yeah, this is very much like I grew up in like Southern California where if any snow happens, the entire city shits itself.
yeah, like anybody who's lived in like northern states, Canada, like anywhere that they're just laughing. It's like, oh, really? Snow day? Like, who
Yeah,
takes a day
exactly.
off because of
Yeah, I've
snow?
definitely had like coworkers be like, "Oh, my kid's school had a snow day because it was like
Because there was frost
minus
on my
two
window.
degrees," and I was
Yeah,
like, "This is literally offensive."
Yeah. The snow is made of bears.
All right, Air IQ writes, going by the Chinese zodiac cycle of 12 years, March 2025 will mark the start of the second year of Luigi.
God damn it. Okay.
What must Nintendo do to make this second hypothetical year of Luigi more successful than the first? Oh man. Okay.
Instead of like a Mario Odyssey follow-up, it's a Luigi 3D platformer.
Like Luigi Odyssey?
Well, I mean, yes, but not specifically like that or whatever. Not like
That would be
Odyssey
cool. I'd
again
be
with
down for
Luigi.
that.
Like a new
I
game.
do feel like they would probably do Luigi, or what was the last one? Super Mario Wonder. So it'd be
Oh,
Super
Wonder.
Luigi
That's what
Wonder.
I was thinking. You're right. That's what it would be.
That's probably what they would probably do, because they bet they have a bunch of other like gimmicky ideas for the stages that they could do. That'd be cool. I'd be down for another one of those.
Yeah, me too.
Um,
Be good.
I think I'm good on Luigi's Mansion at this point. There's
Yep.
been 3 of those. They're all pretty. I think the only way I'd get excited about a Luigi's Mansion is if it was like substantially different, like an actual evolution of that. Because I feel like it's
Yeah.
been pretty similar. Even like the Luigi stuff, it's like, okay, now there is 2 of them, but that's still not that different.
Yep. Yep.
Maybe they could, yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to think, like a paper Luigi. What would that be? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think it would have to be like a Luigi centric main release to do it.
Yeah, I think I'd be more interested if they did like a Year of Wario,
Sure.
or just because we already did like the Year of Luigi, do like a year of something else.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Suku writes, Dear TDP, there are too many video game expos nowadays. Please eliminate 3. I'm not a crackpot. Okay.
3. Okay.
The easy ones to get rid of are the Calgary Expo. The
I don't even think that counts.
No,
as like a
I know.
video game
Like
expo.
no, we can't just say like local expos or whatever. They have to be some big ones. You can get rid of E3 because life did.
E3's already gone, so we can't get rid of it. It's already gone. Okay, here's an easy one. You can get rid of one of the PAXs because there's still another PAX.
I'm gonna take the hot take here. You could get rid of all of them, and that'll be the 3.
I don't know. I'm trying to think like where the conventions are. I think getting rid of PAX West would make more sense because there's a lot of conventions on the West Coast, and I don't think the East Coast has as many.
There would be riots because that was the first one, right? Like that
PAX
people
West?
would.
Yeah, but East is always bigger.
Yeah.
So
People
that's
would
the
be
thing.
pissed.
I wish John was here because he goes to more of the kind of like smaller fan ones, whereas I go to more of like the industry ones.
Sure.
So like that's like the sad reality is it'd be a lot easier to get rid of the fan ones.
Well,
and
that's why
keep
I
the
was saying,
industry
like,
ones.
just to make this interesting, we can't say like MomoCon is like because that's just the Atlanta convention, right? Like,
Yeah. But when I'm thinking of a lot of the industry ones, it's like they kind of serve like a purpose. Like you can't get rid of Summer Game Fest because that's kind of like the big E3 equivalent one now. I don't think you can get rid of GDC because that's such a like a business focused
GDC
like,
you
networking
can't
one.
for sure.
Yeah.
That has to stay. Like again, I could take the hot take topic of you could get rid of all of them and just do directs because that's how I like to take it anyway. So
Whereas I like going to these conventions. And
yeah,
stuff, so.
exactly. That's
don't
why
know.
that's why I'm not taking my approach of just like get rid of all of them. I don't fucking care. So like
Yeah,
I think
okay, so
you
I'm
have
just-
to keep
I'm
GDC.
gonna get rid of PAX West.
Okay.
I'm gonna get rid of MomoCon, and I'm gonna get rid of what's
Okay.
another one John goes to? What's the one in January?
Magfest.
Magfest. It's
Just
gone.
getting rid of the small ones. Yeah.
TwitchCon. I've never gone. You can get rid of every single TwitchCon.
TwitchCon's not even
Never-
about games, unfortunately. That's just streamers.
Well, it's about like streaming and stuff, which
Yeah, I mean, if you go
you know,
that
it's
way,
kind-
you could
was
get
kinda
rid of
built on
VidCon
games.
too, because YouTubers suck. Like,
VidCon. Yeah.
video game specific ones, I will stick by get rid of PAX East, West, and the Texas one or the Australia. I don't care.
So South has been gone since 2020. Yeah, 2020. They do still have
Australia.
Australia.
Yeah, just get rid of all 3 of those. That would be my answer.
I don't even
probably.
know if Australia has other ones. I mean, they must. They must. But
That's
I
not
just
my
don't know
problem.
so
That's
far
not
away.
my problem. I'm not Australian.
All right. Well, you're also not American, and all of these are in America.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, you could get rid of like the fan expos in like Toronto and Vancouver. Like, also, I
well,
guess.
I'm assuming Fan Expo in Toronto is probably the biggest one of the
Probably.
country, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So if anything, get rid of any of the other ones. But they're again, those also aren't video game specific. They're just like nerd time.
Yeah.
Nerd time in the city. That's what Calgary's is. So.
Yep. Even though it's the biggest one, I could get rid of Gamescom because they never like it's right after E3, Key 3 or whatever we want to call it. So they're just reiterating
I guess
what I
timing wise you could, but again, it's the biggest one. So if that's a good reason to not get rid of it.
So that's the only reason that like I was even keeping it because I don't care about Gamescom for announcement stuff. Like for my purposes, I don't care about
Tokyo
it.
Game Show is right after Gamescom, so that's an even smaller window. There was also for a while though there was the Paris Games Week, which
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I'm not exactly sure the entire format of that. I didn't follow it too closely. I don't even know if they still do it or if it's just on hiatus from COVID or what the point of that is.
The only thing I really care about from Tokyo Game Show is that they do this like 4 to 6 hour just like a bunch of weird indie shit that you would never see anywhere else, and that's kind of interesting.
So long. That is so long.
It's too much. It's way too much.
It's not a convention, but would you slot in Game Awards to this?
So, I know I talk a lot of shit about I don't like watching trailers and stuff, but every year I like doing the Game Award thing of just
I do like the Game Awards.
I would keep it.
It is a fun show. I'm just wondering if you would even consider this on the list of game conventions.
I wouldn't because I'm selfish, and either way, even if you did, I wouldn't choose it myself.
By definition, I guess I just wouldn't call it a convention. I would just call it show, performance, live stream.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Is there a game or other media property you hate because someone you know likes it a bit too much?
No, that's stupid.
Yeah, that is pretty dumb. It is weird. It is weird when I meet someone who genuinely likes like Borderlands lore.
Yeah, sure.
Like when I do meet those people, whether they're friends or not, I do consider that a red flag, and it's like, huh, well, I wish I didn't know that about you, but oh well. Doesn't mean I have to care.
Yeah, no, I actually really like when people like stuff, even if I don't like it, because that's awesome. People should like things, and it literally doesn't affect me at all. So no, I don't care.
For sure, absolutely.
Dead right, dear Sean. I had a few questions about the Proteus controller you were trying out. So we were talking a little bit off air. You didn't actually talk about the Proteus controller on the podcast, and John and I were trying to remember.
Right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because we talked about it off air.
The embargo went live while I was at Gamescom. Yes.
Yeah. So Dead has a few questions for you. What extent is a controller compatible with custom 3D printed objects?
I don't know about the full extent. I know it can do 3D printed objects. The website even has like STL files you can download for different types of like analog stick and like nubs and whatnot. So you can definitely unplug some of those things. And then, just they have the fitting, so you could theoretically slot anything into those like analog stick parts if you wanted some kind of base or some other different kind of stick. I didn't look into that too much. I don't have a 3D printer, so that wasn't really something I could like test out. But they also have a Discord where they're constantly talking with the community about it, so that is probably something you could get more info on for sure.
Yeah, and it seemed like from what you showed me on camera or whatever that it does need kind of like a connector like chip or something, like the contacts for the thing, so you couldn't do like a
but the analog sticks it already has, you can just pop off the top.
No, but what I'm saying is that for custom 3D printed objects, you couldn't just do like a full like thing and then just connect it to another ball. It would still have to have a connection somehow.
Yeah, that would have to be powered. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm literally thinking like, do you want a different kind of thumbstick?
Right.
Do you want to make kind of like a platform so that it can like kind of stand up and
Right.
be like a big joystick or something?
Right. Got it. How much is BioWave going to be
BioWave.
promoting these files for easily download/print?
It's just on their
Like you said,
website.
it's
You can
just
just
on the
download
site.
them.
Yep.
Yep.
And do the regular buttons allow for double tap and hold configurations like the Xbox share button?
So that I don't 100% know. They do have a button like remapping software. It was not live when I did my hands-on, and so they just kind of sent me some like screen recordings of it so that I could put that into the video. Um, and then I'm not sure about the full extent of that. I know you can definitely remap the buttons to other stuff, but I don't know. I believe I remember reading something or hearing them talk about hold configurations, but I don't know for sure.
Cool. Then he just writes quick. If you're curious, this is my dream one-handed controller. A front analog stick for aiming with my thumb, a back 3D printed 3DS circle pad with mini analog stick mold for movement with my index finger, the ABXY buttons as 2 rows of 2 for my middle and ring finger to have 12 button configurations, each having tap, double tap, and hold. That kind of sounds sick, honestly.
Yeah, you should be able to do that.
Interesting. Hmm.
I don't know if that would if you'd be able to hit everything because you got to get the triggers in there as well somewhere, right?
Hmm.
I guess it depends on like what if games because it works on PC, so maybe you don't need the triggers if you're playing, just like like an old school platformer or something. But there's a lot of buttons on a controller, so.
Sure, yeah.
VGC Kenny writes, I would describe Disney Illusion Island as a slower, more methodical Metroidvania. Without the ability to attack, you have to think carefully about how you move through an area. Most Metroidvanias I know are more fast paced, and while some thought is needed, it feels a lot more reflexive versus Disney Illusion Island's need to actually plan out things. And yet, Disney Illusion Island absolutely nails just about everything else that makes a Metroidvania fantastic. The deviation from your typical Metroidvania is fun. What other games do you know that deviate from a genre that is still at the game's heart and soul, and should more games try this out?
Um,
The one that pops into my head is Driver San Francisco,
yeah.
which on paper is a racing game. But if you're not familiar with that game, and I don't blame you, you're a ghost
Yeah.
who can possess cars. So you can jump between different cars, and instead of like racing to be faster than the opponent, you can just possess the car in the oncoming traffic and drive into your opponent and hit them. Um, so you're pretty much flipping the whole racing on its head, and that was really cool.
Yeah. Um, I really like how Undertale, it was just like an RPG Maker game, but it has so much in that, like, you don't have to fight anybody for one thing, and it's like every time you fight a different character, there's like a mini game that you have to learn to
Sure.
like quote unquote fight it. It's like an active RPG, turn-based RPG, which is dope.
And you're specifically not fighting at that point. Like the actions you're selecting are to not fight.
Right, exactly. Because if
Yeah.
you fight, it's just tapping at the right time to do damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, should more games try this out? Like, yeah, absolutely. That's creativity right there. That's how
That's
we
how
get
you
more
push.
interesting ideas.
That's how you push genres forward
And
for sure.
that's how we get like that's how Battle Royale started, like, right? Like they
Yeah,
just what if we mix it up this way?
absolutely. Yeah. Phantom Aegis writes, Ahoy TDP crew, which incarnation of Link is your favorite? It can be based on their looks, interpretation, or personality, place in their silent words yet expressive grunts and hyas. In case you need help, and then they listed the links from each game or whatever below. I won't talk about all of them, but your favorite Link.
I think it's just gonna be because it's one of my favorite Zeldas, but like I always liked Wind Waker Link because he was pretty like cartoonish and he had a lot of like really good like facial expressions because of that.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I always liked Legend of Zelda 1 and 2 Link, the originals, because that Link was plastered on like a bunch of like I had like sheets with that link on it.
I'm gonna say, is there any personality to that link?
Yeah, because that was kind of like the link we grew up with or whatever. The one that was drawn in the manual or whatever was on all the merch and shit. So that's kind of the
Okay.
one I think of.
And then maybe like a second one would probably maybe be Breath of the Wild, because he gets pretty expressive in that too. Actually, when I think of expressive, I'm Skyward Sword. There's some good expressions in that one, but yeah, I think Wind Waker's my favorite.
Yeah. Least favorite is CDI Link. It's just the worst. It's just the worst.
Hey
Was that
Zero
me?
EX.
Oh.
No, it's me.
Yeah.
A little late, but you just want a gold medal, gold Olympic medal in whatever sport you like. Synchronized swimming, I don't know. What song would you play for you during the ceremony? An artist song you like, a video game tune, something from a musical. Have fun. This is like your when you're getting the award, what song is playing? I would probably pick the Space Jam theme.
That's pretty good. I was thinking Party Up by DMX. The y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in
Sure.
here. Yeah.
There you go. Nice. All right. That's it for questions. If you want to send in questions for next week, topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter or Blue Sky, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What is your game of the week?
I'm gonna pick two. I'm gonna say World of Warcraft for last week, and this week it'll be Shadow of the Ninja Reborn.
I'm going to say my game of the show for Gamescom was the first